I went to see Blue Jasmine last night, and this all of these like kids started flooding into it, and it made noise all the way through it and stuff. And I was like, really? A Woody Allen movie? It's like, is there no place where you're safe from noise and troublemakers? The movie theater, yeah. Anyway,
were you able to enjoy it?
I was, yes, and I'll tell you, that movie grated my nerves for a while.
It did mine too.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he can't help but do that. I mean,
I think the impossible task he set up for himself was to slowly chip away and find humanity in this lead character, and eventually, for me, it got there.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay, that's a very interesting point.
You know when it happened? It happened when, I mean, this is the most kind of traumatic, highly frazzled performance I've seen in a while that Cate Blanchett gives at this movie.
Yeah.
But it happened when she got the call back from Skarsgård. And she's sitting on the bed in her sister's house and gets that phone call, and then she hangs up and she starts to weep. And, you know, she lived in a certain reality that she established for herself, which was really a fantasy that existed outside of the real world. And she was just, it's like what we're talking about going back to the well and how you can't recreate your past. She was desperate in any way she knew how to reclaim that. If it meant marrying another rich man or whatever, that's what she would do. But that moment really spoke to me, and it didn't feel judgmental, but it felt fully aware of who that character was.
That's a good point.
And I really started to feel it at that point. I don't know. How did you feel about it, Dean?
Well, I liked the movie, you know, quite a bit. I mean, like one of his best in a little while. And one of the things I really liked about it was that, for me, it was the first movie of his that I can remember seeing where the lead character was just completely, for me, completely reprehensible. And that's to say, okay, let's just remember that she's a character that really knows what's going on throughout much of the, you know, in the flashbacks and everything to her days with Alec Baldwin, the Bernie Madoff character. She really does know that he's doing some bad things, and this becomes clear in a very key moment in the movie. She knows a lot more than she's let on, and for me, she never really. Although I had sympathy for her, she never really. I still remember what you said, Jerry, about her being like Blanche Dubois. And I thought that was only surfacey stuff, you know, just the situation that the character was in. But I thought I was expecting a movie that had a character that was easily sort of. I mean, I find Blanche Dubois, like I can sympathize with her quite a bit. I thought that she was obviously damaged, but
she seems like a Girl Scout compared to the character. I mean, Blanche Dubois seems like a Girl Scout compared to this one. But let me ask you a question, though.
This character is really mean to almost everybody that she meets. I think that's her number one flaw.
Let me ask you guys both a question, though, because you think that, Dean, you think she's more reprehensible than Martin Landau in Crimes and Misdemeanors and Jonathan Ross Myers in Match Point?
Deconstructing Harry.
Yeah, I do.
I wasn't even thinking that. I was thinking more of the serious dramas, but that's a good one too, Jamie.
I actually thought of Crimes and Misdemeanors because here's another point that third act reveal how this reflects Woody Allen's view of life. If you recall, in Crimes and Misdemeanors, Woody Allen's viewpoint about the world and life and how it all works and how it's meaningless, he basically showed that Martin Landau committed this murder. He sanctioned the murder of his mistress.
Right.
He was guilt-stricken, but in the end, that guilt goes away, and you find a way to deal with it and live with it, and the world doesn't change.
Right.
In this one, no matter the motivation behind it, she actually did the right thing.
She did, but for selfish reasons, though.
Yes, but
yes.
And she has been nothing but punished by that decision.
Oh yes, mm-hmm.
It's beating.
That's a good point.
That's true. That's an excellent point. You're correct.
That's a great point, Amy. That's a wonderful point.
What? I think my deal with her is just that if she had only been a kinder person, I would have had a lot more. She's so upset over the fact that her fantasy world has crumbled that she has absolutely no love for her sister at all. I mean, she's just there out of desperation. She makes no effort to try and understand the people that are in her sister's orbit. She also doesn't display any kind of sense of. She has a vague sense that she wants to be a decorator, but what she really wants to decorate is her own home. She doesn't really want to go into other people's home and decorate.
That's a good point.
So she doesn't really have any kind of interest or anything all this time. She's never built up any true interest. She never even considered the fact that what happens if this all ends. I don't know. She was just completely unprepared for any role in the real world whatsoever.
Oh no! And that shows when that great scene where Andrew Dice Clay shows up in the third. That's
she's not accustomed to interacting with the real world. I mean, she's completely an insulated character.
Totally.
And I love the fact that she's complicated like that and unapologetic in a way that Woody Allen isn't going to endear her to an audience. You have to settle your own conflicted feelings about her yourself. But within that. Yeah, it is wonderful. But within that, I did find, on her terms, I found the humanity of that character, and I found the struggle in that character that made her human.
Mm-hmm. And I agree with that.
It's so easy. Jerry, you were right too about what you said. It is as strong a movie about class division as any, certainly in recent memory. But it's easy when you're portraying those two polar opposites to veer off into caricature either way. And I think that at times it might have happened with the Blanchett character, but for the most part, I thought it was very honest about those divisions. I really felt the awkwardness. There's a lot of division. There's a lot of stuff that comes into play that keeps them from achieving any kind of intimate personal connection, those two sisters. And you felt the awkwardness of it, and you felt the not wanting to verbalize or being
you can feel the tension in those rooms.
And you can feel the past that they had shared without them having to talk about the past very much. That was really interesting.
That's great direction and great acting and great screenwriting.
It is.
I want to say though, as reprehensible as she is, when she's like talking to herself, or when she's really just you watch her just falling apart. I do have a degree of empathy for her, and that says something. Yeah. I mean, she is really. There are some scenes, and a lot of people, especially I guess when Melinda came out, people gave Woody Allen a hard time that he's not connected to the real world. I don't think I've seen a narrative film, not documentary, narrative film that is more in tune what's going on in this country right now. She represents a class of people that knows nothing, like you said, about the real world, but knows nothing about computers, nothing, and nothing about working. Even. I really felt horrible for her when she's in the dentist office learning and trying to juggle all this stuff and failing miserably. I felt for her because I think we've all been in positions like that at some time in our life, at a much younger age, mind you. But I really that says something about her performance, and I was able to have empathy really throughout the whole thing for her.
She really did that. Yeah, I mean, her performance is magnificent, and it's magnificent also because it's so grating at times. She doesn't soften the edges on Jasmine, which is commendable.
That's absolutely true.
But you know what? You watch something. I mean, to give you an idea of what a great writer Woody Allen is, you can look at Blue Jasmine as a story of a woman that starts her life again at an older age, and the difficulties and challenges of that. Which is also something that Larry Crowne is about. So here is the divide in quality of writing. You know?
Oh, God, Larry Crowne. You have to bring that up, don't you? How to kill the mood.
Big divide there.
Yeah.
How to kill mood. Larry Crowne.
I thought that Woody Allen, maybe for the first time that I can remember, at least, I could maybe go back to something like Mighty Aphrodite or something like that. But I really liked how he portrayed the people, like Andrew Dice Clay and Sally Hawkins, but also Matt Casella and Bobby Cannavale. And
he was great. Bobby was wonderful.
They were all so. I was afraid that the movie would make fun of those characters, and it kind of did. Like when you see Andrew Dice Clay come up to Blanchett and Baldwin's great apartment, New York apartment.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And he's in his members only jacket.
Oh, I know.
The nicest jacket you can think of having.
Back in his day, it was.
I just thought, boy, that's a great little detail. That's funny, but also not too mean and everything, and kind of real and everything. And Andrew Dice Clay, I have to say, Andrew Dice Clay, how great was he in the movie?
Yeah.
I mean,
he ripped it up.
He was superb.
20 years ago, that comedian, that guy who I always thought, and I won't lie to you, I thought was just a flash in the pan, but you would have told me like 20 years ago, Andrew Dice Clay would be in a Woody Allen movie and would be incredible, I would have laughed at you. But you're watching it, and you feel for him.
I think it's important that it happened now. I mean that it's an older, weathered Andrew Dice Clay doing this part, someone that has known the ups and downs. And I think that you feel that with him when he brings to the character. The thing is immaculately cast from top to bottom.
Yeah. It is.
And Michael Stolberg is good, and Louis C.K. is good, and they're just in little, you can almost, those are, in another film, those would have been throwaway performances, but they're both very good. I mean, there's so much to those characters.
And also, interestingly enough, isn't this only? I guess he did. I guess Woody Allen did. Did he do anything else? He did that in widescreen, but this is really one of his few widescreen movies. One of his few scope movies. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Visually, that's something to applaud too. I personally like scope of movies better than 185 movies because I think that's how we really see. So I was like, wow, this is just great. Just even though it wasn't overwhelmingly great, like Manhattan or something like that, like in a visual level, it was still great to see that frame shape, with a Woody Allen film, and especially one as good as this one.